My name is Chad Bauer. I'm president and owner of SRMB Advertising. We're a little bit over 60-year-old advertising marketing agency in Maryland, in the United States, specializing really in full funnel marketing, performance and growth marketing, and advertising for our clients. One day, an email popped up from Gilmore, and was a quick email. It hit me right between the eyes, and I replied immediately, and from there, kind of the rest is history. I think what really drove me to work with you once we, met and we kind of had that first engagement was just your overall sort of, I would say, like direction and your approach to things. Very organized, very systemic, and sort of like there was a reason. I could tell kind of what we say around here, a method to your madness that I really latched onto. I think there was a personality fit and maybe just a kind of a initial mindset fit right off the bat. I finished up that call thinking, man, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about, and he's the kind of guy that I need, on my arm to kind of get this thing to the next level. You allowed me to see things, or helped me to see things a little bit more strategically instead of kind of just all over the place. My mind tends to just be a bit scattered sometimes. And I think that you instilled a level of focus from the perspective of like, hey, yeah, you've got a ton of stuff that you want to work on, but, you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. So let's start here and then work our way forward. And things will change, things will evolve, but at least you're on a path towards the direction you want to be. And I think that some of those initial experiences with you and understanding that that's how you thought and wanted to lead me and guide me through this was extremely helpful. That allowed me to then kind of say, okay, some of this stuff is just noise. I don't need to worry about it right now. The sky is not falling. I learned a lot about, the mindset of it all, right? And not letting myself get overwhelmed, even though I still do to this day at times. Not letting myself get overwhelmed with a lot of the little stuff. Identifying what the priorities are, focusing on those priorities, and just kind of knocking things down. The whole idea of continuous movement forward, to never really stop in my tracks and sit there and look around and think too long about what my next move is. I felt confident, I felt prepared, I felt like I knew what I needed to do next. As an entrepreneur, that's usually not common. We're bright light, we're chasing the bright light, and then that goes out, and we're looking for the next bright light. So you really helped me kind of calm down on that from that perspective, and really be a little bit more strategic about how I was approaching my day to day and my week to week, not just at work, but also personal. Something that you spoke to me about pretty early on was like, you got to be right yourself. And you got to have the mindset yourself before you expect anybody else to. Like, you've got to have that. And it made sense right away when you said it. But I also was looking at it myself and saying, well, I got a good mindset. I like to have fun. I come in here, make people laugh. We have a great book of business. I love to go out and sell our services and our people to prospects. And it made sense, but it didn't resonate with me. And at one point, it really started to resonate what you meant by that, what you meant when you said you've got to be right in order for the rest of it to work out on the business side, and so on and so forth. So I would say that my biggest takeaway from that was like, yeah, I wanted to focus on the business. I wanted to focus on our people. I wanted to focus on our processes, on our go-to-market approach, all of that stuff. But I needed to look inward first, and I needed to identify what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were. And that's not the easiest thing to admit, like, what we're not good at. And, sometimes it feels weird when you brag about something that you feel you are really good at. So practicing that and going through some of those early exercises that you had in your programming with me really allowed me a lot more easier than ever before in my life to look inward, reflect, identify, and then take action. And that, I feel like if we didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am with the business today. I would have taken a major step over that, or a long road around that. And I'm so glad that I was able to kind of understand that early, but then start to apply it, because that's really been the catalyst for the growth everywhere else. Results wise, they've kind of been all encompassing. From a personal perspective, I definitely feel a lot more at ease with things from time to time. I feel that I'm more prepared, just in my personal life, when I leave the office and go home to be with my boys, or I'm at home before I leave to come to the office, making sure that, I am that present father and being a part of everything that I possibly can for those guys. And I knew that that's what I always wanted to be. I just think learning some things through you really helped me make that obvious and a lot more intentional in my day to day. So, yes, success on the personal side, no doubt, and felt like I've succeeded being a very present and active father, to them since we started. From a kind of business results perspective, we've grown over the last 2 years at a pretty decent clip. Last year we were right around 11.5% growth year over year, and this year we're kind of gearing more towards 20. Probably able to finish around 18% or so, but just very happy with the way we've grown from a revenue perspective. You've helped me align how we position the firm to our target audience a lot more intentionally and direct than we had before. And so I think that that's led us to be in front of the right people, the right prospects at the right time. And that's then churned, obviously, new business opportunities and revenue for the firm. I would also say from a operation side of things, like internally, really helping me identify, okay, these are our processes. Let's get them documented. Let's get them in place so that as we scale and can bring new people on, they can be plugged right in and kind of get up to speed a lot quicker and onboarded a lot more, not just faster, but effectively, right? Less gaps, more knowledge resources at the front end. Again, things that I certainly wouldn't have planned for or taken the time in the midst of all the craziness that is our world to put together. And here we are now. We've got basically a book of SOPs and processes documented that you could be a brand new employee, or you could be here for a couple of years and go in and pretty immediately understand what the task at hand is. So I think that working with you and the success that I've had has touched me in many different ways across my life, both personally and professionally, as a leader here, professionally as a worker here, all the above. I would describe it as basically having a right hand next to you, supporting anything and everything that you need support with. You're extremely resourceful, Jesse. You find a way to bring a solution or ideas, for options for a solution to the table when I discuss a challenge or an issue that I might be having. And we're all, intelligent enough to understand that none of us have a crystal ball. We don't know what's coming down the pike. But when we take a strategic effort and perhaps even test a few things or try a few different things that may be new and uncomfortable, that's where we see change. That's where we see growth. Growth is not a clean thing. It's a really, really, really messy situation. So if I'm talking to you and you have never worked with somebody like Jesse, or you don't have any idea what this is looking like, but you do desire to succeed and grow your business, Jesse is the guy that's going to help you sift through all the madness that comes with growth, clean all of the dirtiness and the sloppiness and the craziness that comes with growth, and arm you with the right decision-making skills and the right observation skills to, get where you want to get to in the next step, whether it be rev growth, team collaboration and team growth, new business opportunities, retention of clients. Maybe you have a retention problem. Your ability and Jesse's ability to peel back all the layers of the onion that we live in and identify, okay, Chad, guess what? You thought it was this one thing. It's not. It's these three things. And this is what we need to think about in order to get those three sore spots out of here and move forward. I would kind of chalk you up as the almighty the almighty cleaner to the craziness and the dirtiness and sloppiness of growth and what you're trying to get to in the next level for your business. I would add this, being interviewed is always fun, and it's great to be able to talk. And I know that sometimes we get pressed for time, but my door is always open. If considering to work with Jesse or someone like Jesse is on your radar, and you want a real live, candid, no BS type, filter on some things that you're thinking about, I'm available. Contact me on LinkedIn. Shoot me a DM. I'll find some time to connect with you. I feel that the value that Jesse can bring to what most people are trying to accomplish in this comparable stage are unpronounced. There aren't people like they're out there looking to help and drive impact as much as Jesse is.